Free speech is obviously a topic we were very keen to hear about during this general election campaign, and we're far from alone. A group of free speech supporters set up a campaign called Just Answer the Question, which is designed to establish the extent to which potential MPs support free speech. The campaign has asked all the candidates 5 questions which they see as fundamental to free speech and democracy. Mark Glendenning is a co-founder of Just Answer the Question, and he joins me now, along with former Labour MP Luciana Berger. Welcome to the show. I'm going to come to you first. Mark, explain to me the purpose of Just Answer the Question. What is it you're driving at here?
So we want voters to be able to see at a glance where those seeking to represent them in Parliament stand on 5 key free speech, democracy-related questions. And that's why they're yes-no answers, because we have so many politicians who say rhetorically, I believe in free speech, but, and then when it comes to an actual vote, they will vote to hand over yet more powers to the authorities to limit what you and I can actually say. And I believe that we are now in a very, very dangerous state in this society. We're almost sort of transitioning away from being a classical liberal democracy in which people could say whatever it is they wanted to say politically. We're transitioning into a sort of post-democratic society through a sort of silent revolution. It's an authoritarianism that doesn't take ownership of its own anti-liberalism. And so we're sort of making a small contribution, we hope, to a sort of collective fight back.
Yes, but you mentioned this idea of yes-no answers. That's not popular with politicians, is it?
No, they don't like it.
No.
For a good reason.
Well, let's find out. I mean, we have a former Labour MP, Luciana Berger, here. Thank you ever so much for coming in. I thought, Luciana, it might be quite a good idea to start by just asking you the questions, Mark's questions, and to see what you think about these. Would that be OK?
It is. I mean, I think what was interesting, we had a conversation before the start of this show, and I understand everyone thought we perhaps had more time to put the questions together. These are thorny issues. These are not simple questions, and I'm very happy to try and answer them.
Absolutely. Well, it's a very good point. And if it is the case that they are too thorny to reduce to yes-no answers, then we will find out, I think, in the asking of the question. So let's go for question 1, which is, do you agree that the police should stop placing persons on hate registers who have committed no crime? Yes or no?
So this is one of the questions. No, but what do you mean? I think certainly having spoken to lots of candidates that get lots of these, questionnaires through, rightly from members of the public that want to know where their prospective representatives stand.
Yes.
We have to be very clear what we mean,
okay,
right? And it is a really important question. I'm happy to answer it, but my question is, what do you mean by a hate register? Because I'm not aware that we have them. If it's about this law in Scotland, obviously we sit here this evening in England, which is beyond that jurisdiction. I'm not even unsure, having done some research in advance, what these hate registers are.
Very quickly then, if we say, over a 5-year period, there were roughly 120,000 records of non-crime hate incidents from police forces in England and Wales. Should the police be writing your name down for when you have not committed a crime, yes or no?
I think if something's reported, then that's...
Recorded, sorry.
Recorded after a report?
Yes, recorded by the police as a non-crime hate incident without any evidence, just simply on the basis of the complainant. Should that be a thing?
I think they should keep a record, yes.
OK, we got a yes. Right, so let's move on to question 2.
Would you be happy to be placed on such a database?
But I'm happy to explain the motivation.
What if I report you to the police tonight?
Wait. We don't want to get into a debate about this particular question. OK, I'm going to put my foot down. So, do you agree that parents and psychotherapists should be free to advise young persons and others not to change sex or gender? Yes or no?
Yes. And no party is advocating or saying that they shouldn't.
Well, that's
Mark,
an interesting question.
I did say we can't debate.
Sorry. I'm behaving very badly.
We can debate afterwards. Do you believe that it is wrong for teachers to tell school kids that Britain is a structurally racist society? Yes or no?
Well, we sit here this evening and we don't have a diverse audience, and on that very basis, there's lots of very different statistics in this country which show that we do have structural racism. So I would say no to that question.
No to that question. Do you agree that an official state definition of Islamophobia will curtail our right to be critical of a religion? Yes or no?
In principle, no.
OK, and then finally, do you agree that everyone should have the freedom to speak their mind, which includes the right to offend and hold controversial views? Yes or no?
So this is one of those questions where there's degrees, and where I draw the line is where you incite others. So I would respect anyone, and even if I disagree with someone, very welcomely open the debate and discussion.
Yes.
But I do think we have a duty to protect the public, and where people are inciting other people to commit crimes and or commit acts of violence, I think that's where we should draw the line.
Fantastic. Thank you, Luciana. We've also got, via video link, we've got a Tory parliamentary candidate, Brendan Clark-Smith. Brendan, I'm going to put those same questions to you. Firstly, can I just say thank you very much for joining us tonight. These are the 5 questions which have been formulated by Mark Glendenning's new initiative. The first question is, do you agree that the police should stop placing persons on hate registers who have committed no crime? Yes or no?
Yes, they should stop doing it. Priti Patel made that very clear in 2021 as well, that it should stop. I believe that's the guidance as well. So, simple one, yeah, stop doing it.
OK, do you agree that parents and psychotherapists should be free to advise young persons and others not to change their gender?
They should be, yes. And this is one of the worries we had about this conversion therapy ban. So it's something that the people supported in principle. There's a lot of issues around this. Say a girl suddenly says she's a boy, you want to go and see a therapist and say, no, actually, I think you're young, you're confused, have a think about it. You don't want those people being prosecuted for that. So it's a little bit nuanced, I think. And this is why we were a bit worried about the legislation before and kind of the unintended consequences of it.
OK, number 3, do you believe it is wrong for teachers to tell school kids that Britain is a structurally racist society?
I do, yes. I'm a former teacher myself. I've been a sociology teacher, an RE teacher, a citizenship teacher, but I'll be fair to teachers here. Generally, in my experience, that's not what teachers do. Teachers will teach about these theories, and some will be very critical of it, or they'll have different opinions on it in the classroom, and you explore it, and you have free speech and debate like you do on your show, Andrew, and I think that's the way to approach these subjects, but certainly not teaching it as fact. No. Do I believe Britain's structurally racist? No, I don't. OK. Do you agree that an official state definition of Islamophobia will curtail our right to be critical of a religion? I think it will, yes. I'm a bit concerned about this, actually. I know there's all-party parliamentary groups. It sounds very important. Generally, it's just a group of MPs getting together who would like a definition of Islamophobia. But again, it's. I think we all agree that anti-Muslim hatred, I think, is the phrase that Kemi Badenoch's used, which I think is a better term. I think we'd all agree that that's wrong.
Okay.
But I think when you're actually talking about a religion itself, we don't want a blasphemy law by the back door.
Final question. Do you agree that everyone should have the freedom to speak their mind, which includes the right to offend and hold controversial views? Yes or no?
Yes, they should. I'm sure I've done it many times.
Okay.
But you don't want people walking through the streets promoting terrorist organisations, incitement to murder, things like that. So
thank you. Brendan
Yes.
Clark-Smith, that's all we've got time for you there. Mark, just very quickly. So you've heard the responses from both sides. Are you satisfied?
No, I'm not, because Luciana, I think, has just given a prime example of what I was saying earlier, that she has said she's committed in principle to freedom of speech, but when you ask her about these specific questions, I would contend that she's not really, and that her support for freedom of speech is wafer thin.
Well, I have to ask Luciana to be able to come back on that.
Well, I stand by everything I just said. I think we've got a duty to protect people from issues, particularly when it comes to incitement and when it comes, I think we're actually very similar to the Conservative candidate, that if people are, inciting views to join terrorist organisations or inciting things which would cause people to commit crimes and or violence, I think that's a problem in this country. And also when it comes, to whether it's the registers or whether, I think there's just we have a duty to protect them, particularly a duty to protect children. And we can agree in principle and spirit, absolutely, but that doesn't mean you give free rein to everything when it comes